I started boxing when I was actually 9 years old. I didn't win any Welsh titles as an amateur. I didn't do much as an amateur, really.
Yeah.
So I had my first amateur fight when I was age 10. I think I lost my first one. And then I boxed against a guy. I had 20-odd fights. I was a bit overmatched, but I still done well. I thought it was a close fight.
Yeah.
But then after, I won my next good few amateur fights. I did have many amateur fights. And then I stopped boxing when I was 12 years old. I went through a phase. I was a teenager. I was out on the streets, mixing with the wrong people, maybe. And I got back into it then when I was about 17, 18. Actually, funny thing is, I bumped into my old trainer, Ronnie Rush, in the door office when I was signing on door, and he was as well. He was a self-employed worker. He had no work at the time, and I think he was signing on as well for some reason. And he said to me, he said, "You got a lot of talent." He said, "You shouldn't waste your talents because if you was a good amateur, I think you got a good start to turn into a good pro, because I take my time." And since then, I got back in the train with Ronnie. He trained me up, and then I had my first pro fight when I was age 20. And then I went on from there. Then I won my first pro fight in Cardiff in the Star Les Centre way back in 1989. And then I had a few wins on a trot. I lost a few early career fights which were very close, which I thought I won the fight.
Yeah. And
then I had a good, not bad record, right? The record wasn't great, but then I won the Welsh title against a guy called Peter Harris. That's after so many fights. I can't remember how many fights I had at the time. I beat him on points. He was an experienced fighter. He was a British champion. I beat him on points, so that I sort of opened up my career, and that was a good way for me on my record, and I just kept on fighting, and then what happened then? About a year later, and I think I boxed with some kind of intercontinental title. I beat a guy called Paul Harvey. He was a Commonwealth champion one time. I beat him on points. Then I went over to France, I think. I beat a guy called a Spanish champion, Stefan Acun or something. He was a good fighter. I beat him on points. I had a good few wins, but I had a few setbacks in between as well. But then when I go to my obviously when I was a junior world champion, it was back in 1993. I say what happened then? Then I had a world title shot.
I mean that world title shot, Steve. It was, you're celebrating that win. It's been 27 years last Friday, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
And I mean, is it true you took that 2 days notice while you were working in a warehouse? Is that right? Or
that's it. Yeah, that's it. I was working in a warehouse at the time. I was stocking shelves. I was working part time. Only part time, but I was working on my train, so yeah. And it's amazing how it come along, because obviously the world champion Ruben Plasso had HIV, so they had to strip him of the world title. He was going to fight a guy called John Davison, and so they didn't have no opponent for obviously John Davison, because obviously they found out that he had HIV. So they called me in to fight for a world title, which is 48 hours, and I took it. Because no other fighter didn't want to take the opportunity, because it was too short notice, isn't it? So you mean.
It sounds absolutely unheard of, doesn't it? 48 hours notice, fighting for a world title.
Today, no, they wouldn't do that today, because obviously it's all different rules now. You got to give yourself at least a week's notice, but not 2 days. 2 days, it's craziness. That happened.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, talk me through those 48 hours. You got the call. Was it just a yes straight away to the promoter? Were you with Barry Hearn at the time, or were you in between?
No, what it was, right? Actually, funny thing, I was at my mother-in-law's. At my wife is now. I just finished off pie and chips. It's crazy. I finished off pie and chips, and the next one I had a phone call from my old trainer, Ronnie Rush. She said, "Oh, we got a big fight for you." I said, "When's that?" 2 days time for a world title. I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I won't be ready." and he mentioned his name, John Davis, and I said, "He's a British fighter. He was a British champion." And I got my chance. I could beat him. He said, yeah, go up there, go up there and fight him. If you lose the world champion. But he bleed like a beaten like. And so I thought, all right, go for it. So I packed my bags. My wife said to me at the time, you must be crazy. So, good luck for you. And I thought, just go for it. I was about 7 pound overweight then at the time because I finished pine chips. I was a natural featherweight.
Yeah.
I was always near that fight limit, about 9 stone something. I was one of them lucky ones. I was near that weight. But I was about 7 pound overweight, so I had to do a couple of runs, put a couple of layers of clothes on. I never bleed in black bags at the time, so I always bleed wearing layers of clothes.
Yeah.
I finally just about got the weight down. I made the weight. The weigh-in was actually on the day of the fight. So 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I made the weight. I was a little bit drained, but I was a natural featherweight, luckily. And then hydrated, and then I was ready to fight.
And what an impressive night that was for yourself.
Yeah, I boxed on my skin. I think it was my best performance to that date. It was amazing how I performed, and I read the fight quite well. I had a good head. I picked up points earlier. I think I was ahead after 6-7 rounds, and then it started getting a little bit harder because obviously short notice fights, not much preparation. I was a natural fit person, obviously I wasn't really trained for a 12-round fight at the time. I'd been 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I wasn't trained for a 12-round fight, and I won the fight fair and square. It was a close fight. And I think the last round really won the fight because I always knocked him out in the last round. I knocked his gun shield out and everything. They had no choice in it to give it to me,
I mean, did you pick up the name Cinderella Man after that win? Or was it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was after the win because obviously it's the way it happens, isn't it? It's just, obviously, I think I'm more of a true Cinderella Man than anyone else. Because the original Cinderella Man, it was I think he had 2 weeks notice or something. A week, 2 weeks.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, after that, impressive 7 successful title defences of the WBO title, beating. I mean, one of my personal favourites as well was when you beat Duke McKenzie by KO in the 9th.
That's the
And I know that was one of my favourites. Was that one of your favourite wins as well?
I think one of my favourite wins, but my best of all was against Hodgkinson.
Yeah,
that was one of my favourite performances because obviously he was an elite fighter. He was a WBC world champion, former world champion. I rated him as a really good fighter. He was I think he was known as one of the best featherweights in the world when he was the WBC champion. He was in the top 3 or something. And I thought, this is going to be a tough fight. But I performed. I'd done a number on him. I boxed really well. And
it was
people that was a true world champion.
Yeah, it was absolutely great. I mean, another name on your record, which cemented in history actually as well, was Naseem Hamed. Of course, the result didn't go your way. It was unfortunate. No. However, leading up to the fight, how did you prepare for someone as unorthodox as Naseem Hamed?
Yeah, very hard to prepare for that style. And I don't know the true story about that fight. That fight was taken a short notice. But not a short notice as my world title fight, but I was like 3.5 weeks or so. Because at the time I got married. I went on my honeymoon and into Port. And to say I got to fight at a certain date. I thought, I'll go for it. I was a natural fit person. I should have called the fight off again and maybe have a later date.
Mm.
But it was one of those things. He was a good fighter. He's probably the best fighter I ever boxed, and he was good. And he went on to be a good fighter, a good champion.
Yeah, I mean, with that as well, you were the natural featherweight. He was coming up. Some even had it as a 50-50 fight because you're natural at the weight, you are the champion. And I mean, even after the fight as well, Brendan Ingle said to you, look, you deserve everyone's recognition. And I know there was a lot of animosity leading up into the fight, but would you say that was just there to sell the fight, all that animosity? Because they were very, very complimentary of you afterwards, weren't they, Naz and Brendan?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, obviously respect me after the fight, but there was a lot of, talk before the fight and everything. You listen, he's going to do this, do that. But I think they knew deep down that I was pushed into that fight at short notice. No excuses. I didn't want to complain at the time because people say, "Well, you complain, or then you moan about this and that." But I know I was the kind of person to moan, but
Yeah.
that's the truth. It was a bit short notice. I just wish I had more preparation. To obviously prepare for this style. Like, he wasn't an orthodox and he was a good fighter.
Yeah, I mean,
But
what happened? I mean, like after that, because there was names like there were so many decent featherweights coming up that the infant stage of their career, like Barrera, and things like that. And were there any talks of you fighting a Barrera or anyone like that, or?
yeah, they did mention about me fighting Barrera, but for somehow it just didn't come off. But yeah, I would have liked to fight him. Well, he was a good fighter. But he showed the way out to beat Naz. He's got that kind of style. He's kept on moving to his left against the southpaws. That's the way to beat him, really. And he boxed the right fight. But he was a good fighter.
Good stuff. And your son Jacob, we spoke to him last week. Also a featherweight, 8-0, 2 KO wins. How much of an active part do you play in his career, Steve?
Well, obviously being his father as well, we lived together. I know him like a book. I know he got a lot of potential in him to be a world beater. I just say because I know he could do it because he got such. He's a very hard puncher and he's got good fast hands. He's very strong. I think he was a harder puncher than I was, pound for pound. And he had great movements. He just got to believe in himself. And once he gets that grit and starts believing in himself, he'd be a world beater. Just down to confidence, really, because I was the same when I was up and coming. I was fighting. I was losing fights by short, half a point and everything. But then the confidence comes out of you. Then you just sort of like just got to believe in yourself, and that's all down to your mindset. You know what I mean? So he's unbeaten. He's beating the guys easy, So just once he goes up a class now, it'll be interesting to see how he does now. And, because he was going to fight this guy, the Spanish champion, but obviously he couldn't fight him because of the coronavirus and everything. But that would have been a tough fight, but that could have brought the best out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the reserve fight that he won as well, wasn't he? And
that's it, yeah.
And we're approaching the final now, aren't we, as well, of the golden contract? So it's a bit of a shame with the COVID virus as well in terms of what's going on and sport being cancelled out.
Yeah, affecting all sports, isn't it? All sports
everything's all on the sort of postponement sort of thing. How are you keeping active? I've seen you on Instagram still doing your 5K runs and stuff and everything like that. Is that something you do every day?
I just live. I live all the training and everything. Yeah, I just like to post stuff and everything. Yeah, so yeah, I'm adapting to it, all right. But it is affecting me a bit, obviously because that's my job really. I'm obviously my personal trainer and I train boxers and so on. So yeah, but I just got to get on with it. So hopefully things should be back to normal soon in the next 3 months or so. Hopefully, next few months.
Fingers crossed. I mean, do you still watch a lot of boxing, Steve? Do you? In your old division, or who are your favourite fighters to watch at the moment?
You what? To watch?
Just in general, who are your favourite fighters to watch at the moment in boxing?
Obviously the up-to-date fighters like Terence Crawford. He's a good fighter. Good fighters out there. He's good. Heavyweight, Tyson Fury's good. I rate him. Great boxer. Lomachenko, he's a good fighter. Another good fighter.
He's an all-rounder.
I follow all the fighters this day and age. So yeah, definitely.
Brilliant, good stuff. And
Errol Spence, he's a good fighter. Errol Spence, I like his style. He's southpaw. Like Jacob, he's very strong southpaw. I said to Jacob, watch him. Don't be his style. But he got great jab. He's a very strong fighter. He's he got some good fights out there.
Yeah, the southpaws are very, very difficult to figure out sometimes, aren't they?
It is, because obviously southpaws fight a lot of orthodox boxers, and they're so used to fighting that kind of style, so people got to adjust in it when you fight a southpaw. So.
Yeah, that's right. And in regards to you've been in boxing for, 13 years, your career spanned? Maybe a bit longer?
Yeah, 13 years, eh?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what it looked like. I mean, if you still continue it now, it's a lot longer.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot longer.
Yeah, because I turned pro when I was 20, and then I retired when I was 33. Then, yeah.
Yeah, and Scott Harrison was one of your last fights as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was a good fighter at the time, but he was on the up, and I was on the down. So he beat me, and he beat me fair, obviously fair and square. He was strong, but I think at my peak would have been an interesting fight. That would have.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, what kind of advice can you give to young fighters, especially around the signing of contracts and promotional companies?
Well, obviously, young fighters, depends how good you are and everything, but obviously you've got to train hard, and you've got to put in the work, and obviously it pay off in the end. You've got to start believing in yourself, and obviously if you're lucky, you've got to sign a contract by a promoter, and you're lucky, then you're in that position to bet yourself in it. So this day and age, diet's better now, and the way people train is slightly different to old school. I think some of the old school training you can't beat. The road work, too much road work, they say is not good for you, and I wish I agree. I wish I'd done a lot of road work when I was fighting. I'd probably a bit too much, but now I train Jacob different to why I was a trainer. I still train him similar to why I train. Yeah. But a lot of the new schools, like the new schools, like track sprints and then stuff like that, a bit of weight training. People just say, "Oh, never do weight training. Weight training will slow you down." And actually, weight training it gets you stronger. Depends what kind of weights you're doing. Is it doing the weights the right way? Yeah, that's when right. You're moving the weights at the speed. If you're moving it slow, and then you're going to be slow. So if you move it at speed and explosive speed, then you're going to get that power and speed and power, So that's what it's all down to. Sports science.
Absolutely. And just a very final one. You're known as the Cinderella Man. If you had to, I mean, a lot of people at the moment are working out at home, watching movies. What sort of boxing film can you recommend to the fans out there to watch? Apart from Rocky,
those series boxing films, isn't it? Yeah, I like a true story boxing film. Obviously, Rocky's too far fetched, but I don't know. But actually, it'd be good if they made a film with me.
You never know. Yeah, never know, mate. Because I'm actually going to have a book. I got someone writing a book on me now. Oh, really?
A woman called Mandy Chambers.
Okay.
She's writing a book on me. She's on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
But hopefully that should be up next. We was edited for December this year, but maybe early next year now. So.
Is that print only, or is it in audio format as well?
What's that?
Is that an audio format as well, as in iBooks, or is it just in print?
I think so. Yeah, it might be. Yeah. I think we're going to do both really. So it's going to be a normal book, and then we probably put on both. Yeah.
Brilliant.
What do you think? Yeah. So
good stuff. Steve, where can people follow you? Are you on Twitter as well?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. What's my name on Twitter? It could be Steve on with him. Steve Robinson 24 it is. Is it at Steve Robinson 24? That's Twitter, that is.
Brilliant, good stuff. And
but I'm obviously on Instagram as well, so Steve Robinson 17. And then on Facebook, I'm on Stephen Robinson with a PH. I also got a page as well, a couple of pages.
Brilliant. Steve, look, thanks for all your time today. We were joined today by former WBO Featherweight Champion of the world and former European Champion Cinderella Man Steve Robinson. Steve, thanks for all your time, and we'll look out for you at events with Jacob, I suppose, yeah?
Yeah, it's great, mate.
You have to like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.